So now it's Black History Month. We will show all these Black History Month type documentaries or shows that we've cultured just for this month. Like, why can't you just sprinkle them randomly all over the year? You know,
that's it. What?
And why can't it be on BBC One instead of BBC Four? Like, I don't know. Like, there was one great documentary that was on over Black History Month, and maybe last year. My mom's like, "Oh, you need to check out." And she was like, "But it's on channel BBC Four," and I was like, "BBC Four? Who watches BBC Four?" So this would, if my mom didn't tell me about it and I didn't look on the TV guide or anything, how would I have known this to be even out there for me to get access to? And it's like you're saying, if we had more community gatherings where we just, I don't know, celebrated ourselves and talked. Just talk,
yeah.
you know?
and also listening.
Yeah, listening, yeah.
Like, a lot of people talk a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't listen.
Yeah.
And I see it in my family. And again, linking back to generational trauma, one of the biggest effects of having our masculinity stripped from our men, our femininity exoticized by our women, the amount of abuse that's been through, the amount of disrespect that's happened on our bodies, is that we then internalize that and we start dishing that out to our children. So Caribbean household, you know, it is the child should be seen, not heard.
Yeah.
And you see that in many different communities, definitely.
Yeah.
But a lot of the legacy of the enslavement of African people is that we internalize that. And we don't listen.
Yeah.
We don't listen to each other, and you are beneath me. I am your parent, you're my child, and you can't teach me anything. You can't talk to me about anything.
Oh my days.
That's something that's rife within the community.
It's true.
But linking back to what you're saying about Black History Month, and I'm being facetious here, if there's 12 months in a year, and 1 month is to Black History, what are the other 11 months?
I guess one.
like you're literally saying, okay, this is your time to celebrate. Now we're celebrating for the rest of the year our history, which is dominated already through the youth, through the educational system, through advertisement, through everything. Let alone when we get to Black History Month and we're repeating the same old stories of Martin Luther King. We don't even learn about Malcolm X. Martin Luther King, civil rights, Rosa Parks, Bob Marley, maybe and one little festival and dumpling for the International Food Day or something like that. It's ridiculous.
It's true.
Where are our true stories? Why don't we learn about Harriet Tubman? Why don't we learn about Santiwa? Why don't we learn about Tahoko or Mansa Musa? All of these great kings and queens, Nanny and the Maroons. You know, if they really wanted to teach Black history, that's why I never really pay much attention.
No, of course.
When it comes, cool, it's a time to celebrate and really celebrate what we've gone through, because we've been through so much and we are still here laughing and joking.
Yeah.
You know?
But they say that the Black community is the most forgiving community.
Okay.
Would you, if that is a statistic, I don't know, would that be involved in generational trauma?
Being forgiven, that's interesting. I don't know if we forgive ourselves. It took me a while to forgive my mum for some of the things that I felt I lacked from her. But forgiveness is a big thing to healing. And if we were so forgiving, I don't know where that statistic came from. But if we were so forgiving, then I think we'd be in a lot better a place, because I think a lot of healing comes from forgiveness and comes from understanding our situations and our parents, and forgiving them from those effects that now we are carrying to heal. So I don't know where forgiveness comes from, if we are the most forgiving.
Maybe in religion?
Boy, that's another subject. I don't know if that is really the answer. But yeah, that's a whole other conversation, isn't it?
Because from this article, that's the basic gist of it, to do with religion.
So they're saying that black people are the most forgiving because they're religious? Because there's many people that are religious. Many different types of people.
Because literally, I just typed in black people most forgiving, and every single article is why are black people the most forgiving? Why are black people so damn forgiving? The problem with us always asking black people to forgive. Oh, what do you mean? What? Oh, this is not going to give me information. This is a news article. But, I don't know. I just heard it somewhere because I watch a lot of American TV shows and stuff like that, but I heard it on something American, but I don't know if it's the one-sided nature of black forgiveness. But I'm not sure.
Sorry, what's the question?
I'm not sure if there was a question.
It
was just a statement of
right about black people being
forgiven, and if that connected to some sort of generational trauma.
Right. I would not know where to go with that one.
No, it's all right.
Yeah. I don't know if black people are the most forgiving. I've never heard that before, and I don't know.
I wouldn't think so. My mum's not forgiving.
Out of all the stereotypes for black people, I've never heard black people are so forgiving.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, white people are very afraid of black people.
Yeah, and okay, so I don't know if this connects to generational trauma, but I feel like white people always tiptoe over the fact that we're black. Tiptoe around the fact that we're black, in the sense of I was in this situation where I just thought it was just a statement in general. So I was sat in a car, and there was this girl talking about a story, and then she said, and there was this black guy there, and she looked at me and said, "Hope that didn't offend you, Kory." And I was like, no. Why would it offend me? You're talking about a black person in your story, continue, And I don't know, I thought it was weird, and it's not the first time that has happened. It's just, the whole idea of, I don't know, sometimes calling someone black, they're not sure, some white people might be unsure about if that's an okay statement to use. Maybe it's this whole idea of this hypersensitivity that we have in this generation nowadays, and everyone's so on edge of saying the right thing to anyone there. But I don't know.
Yeah, we're very PC in this society, very polite, and
which covers things under so much more, especially in the UK, where everyone seemed to be these polite people.
Yeah, there's a book called White Fragility that talks about the fragility of white people, I guess, and how whiteness has been such an identity that's been so solid for the last 200-300 years at the rise of the empire, and now that's coming to an end.
Yeah.
How that identity is now being oh, what am I anymore? That's an interesting.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
But in terms of when white people say, oh, this black, oh snap, because one I'd ask, would they be so tentative if there wasn't a black person in the room?
No, probably not.
Right. So then there's a case of, they don't want to appear as being offensive.
Yeah.
And that's different to being, I don't want to be offensive.
Yeah.
And that's something I find interesting.
Yeah.
Like, why is it now that I'm in the room, you find the elephant in the room?
Yeah.
That's something I would look into.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
In terms of white people feeling uncomfortable saying, this person's black, I don't know, like...
I don't know, like... what was her name? Joy DeGroy.
Mm-hmm.
She made a...
Dr. Joy DeGroy.
Dr. Joy DeGroy,
Yes, the black psychologist who wrote Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome.
Her, what her degrees are just mad when they listed it off. Mm-hmm. I was like, wow.
She's amazing.
Yeah. But I'm trying to get to this point on the video so I can find what it was. She was talking about adapted behaviours. Adapted
behaviours, yeah. Like assimilation or what? What do you mean by it?
I'm gonna quickly get this point up.
Behaviors that I took for granted as, cultural. There's adaptive behaviors, survival behaviors. Well, what are they? Let's just say 2019, you have a black mother and a white mother. The sons go to school together. They find themselves at a meeting. The black mother leans over to the white mother and says, I just wanted to mention to you that I noticed that your son is really doing quite well. And the white mother's response is, thank you. She begins to go on and on about, he won the science fair, his uncle's an astronaut. She's just oozing. She realizes the black mother's son is actually excelling her son. And she says, well, wait a minute. Your son's the one that's really coming along. And the black mother responds, oh my God, he's a handful, but he just works my nerves. Yeah. Now, when I'm working with African American people,
this.
It doesn't matter what the audience is. It doesn't matter what class. If I were to ask, is she very proud while she's saying those denigrating things? And everybody laughs and goes, of course. There's a secret. Because everybody black knows that even though the black mother is going, oh my God, she's really proud. So now let's roll that scene back 300 years. And let's say this black mother is working in the fields, and a white slave owner comes through and says, wow, that boy is really coming along. What is she going to say? No, he's not. He's stupid. He's shiftless. He can't work because I don't want you to sell him. So I denigrate them to protect them. That is called appropriate adaptation.
Damn.
When living in a hostile environment. The little white...
Do you know what I mean?
Get little tingles with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But it's just like, when I heard that, I was just like, that's like growing up. And you're thinking, why am I hearing this? And if you think about in the how she's explained it from all the way back, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. And it's so generationally ingrained in us that we don't even realize that we're doing these things.
Right. Because, not only is it ingrained into our DNA, like the abuse and years of pain and suffering, that then manifests in many cancerous ways, from diseases to just learned behaviors. This is a clear example of how generational trauma affects us today.
Yeah.
So, yes, why is it that my mum finds it hard to say nice things about me, to me, or to other people? There is so many learned behaviors that we did 300 years ago that we are still carrying out to today.
Yeah.
And so when people are like, but it's slavery, it happened so many years ago. What are you complaining about? You're free now. There is so much trauma.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, people were in the Holocaust, people that were in genocides, any traumatic event, even, right, if I was in a car crash and I hit my head and I saw a lot of blood, that's going to be a traumatic event.
Exactly.
Everybody knows after a traumatic event, you need healing, you need some way of release, whether it's counselling, whether it's through whatever. The enslavement of African people, in which people have been removed from their homes from their families, from their language, from their cultures.